For a lot of us, older Counter-Strike maps remind us of a better time, where hanging out on the same server with the same people every day and having fun messing around was all we wanted to do. When it comes to making maps for servers like these, one mapper stands tall, looking down on all others, Nathaniel Miller. But you might know him better as NIPPER. Even if you don't know his name, chances are you've played on a map by him. Westwood is, in my opinion, his best map and is probably the map that he's best known for. And while many of you may think of the 1.6 version, or even the source version as your favourite, we need to first take a look at where this map started. Western. Just at first glance, you can tell that this map is from a much earlier version of Counter-Strike. Back when visuals were expected to be a blocky mess, but somehow always perfectly represented exactly what they were supposed to. Like this piano inside the saloon, for example. It looks exactly how you would expect a piano to look in a game from the early 2000s, but for some reason, it sounds like a guitar. Western is a Wild West themed map, and it's rather small and is only one straight road. While it is extremely simple, those who have played on Westwood before may notice a couple of things that are very similar to Westwood as soon as they spawn in. The T-side spawn in Western is this very simple looking graveyard across the street from a big barn, and the CT spawn is also the bomb site, a big water tower in the far corner of the town. The map clearly had some great ideas behind it, but Westwood took those ideas and made something special. The 1.6 version of Westwood can only be described as a timeless masterpiece, and it's a true shame that Westwood has never been included as an official map in a Counter-Strike game. The T-spawn graveyard was transformed to have a much more realistic size to things, and the barn opposite it looks much more warm and inviting. The town is a lot more detailed, and now the town is also shaped like an L, with a single turn in the road instead of a straight line. The CT spawn area with the water tower now looks way better than it did before, and a much more detailed water tower as well. The map also introduces a brand new bomb site to the town, which is located inside the Ye Old Bomb Site building, just in case you were new in town and needed help to find it. While you may think that this map is extremely simple in layout and would have everyone fighting in the middle of the town, you would be wrong. While it is true that the T-side could simply run down the main street of town and hope to get to Ye Old Bomb Site, a smarter idea is to take one of the more hidden paths, such as on top of the rooftops or even the path through the barber shop that takes you behind the sheriff's office and directly into Ye Old Bomb Site. The map is clearly not balanced in any way as it favours the CTs, no matter which way the Ts try and run. But balance isn't what maps like these were made for. When Counter-Strike Source came out, it was only a question of when, and not if, Westwood was going to make a return. When NIPPER finally released Westwood for Counter-Strike Source, it once again quickly became a fan favourite on servers around the world. Gameplay-wise, there wasn't any major changes to write home about, but then again, why would you bother making changes to a map so perfect? What he did do is the same thing that every other map seemed to do. Sourceify the map, recreating the map with a lot of textures that were used in official maps provided by Valve meant that the map felt like it fit in, even with the theme so far removed from the original idea of Counter-Strike. The same things can be said about the official release of the map for Counter-Strike Global Offensive. Once NIPPER finally got his hand on Global Offensive, he quickly got to work making another port of Westwood, but this time he was able to use all of the modern props and textures that Valve included for CSGO, so not only did the visual fit in with the textures, the props really fleshed out the world in a way that made Westwood feel special again. Many of you may think that this is where the Westwood story ends, but the truth is that the story is still being written. NIPPER released a sequel titled Westwood 2, which takes the theme of Westwood, but fleshes out the map to be more of a modern styled layout with multiple possible roads while retaining the main L-shaped road in the middle. Unfortunately, as is the case with most CSGO custom maps, the map was never really played much since casual competitive servers with 30 players screwing around seemed to really dwindle away as Valve has pushed the game further towards a competitive esport. But screw Valve, because NIPPER has stated on Twitter that he will work on Westwood for Counter-Strike 2. As soon as he figures out how to use the new mapping tools, that is. Party City is a good example of a dumb fun map, but this time set in a discount party store. The description of the map is as follows. An apocalyptic sale at Party City has left the store in ruin with only a few items left on the shelves. A group of angry customers have decided to attack the store after learning that the colour of paper plates they were looking for are not back in stock yet. These terrorists have learned of 2 boxes of nuclear waste accidentally shipped to the store and are planning to blow them up. It's up to the employees to defend the store from this onslaught of consumer stupidity. Honestly, the map is truly perfect for anyone who's had to deal with some customers in a retail setting. As we all know, the customer is never right. But the customer is always an asshole. NIPPER also seems to have an affinity with making maps themed around houses, including his own house. The 1.6 version of NIPPER House is very simple in terms of the playable area, but it seems to recreate the home very faithfully. In this version, the CTs spawn inside the house, while the Ts spawn surrounding the entire home, front and back. Their goal is to try and take control of the house and plant the bomb, either in NIPPER's bedroom or in his basement. In the source version of the map, the CTs start in the backyard, and the Ts start out on the street in the front of the house, with the bomb sites staying in the same places. The map has also been fleshed out to include bits of his neighbours' yards as well, which allow the players to flank around the house. Another awesome house-themed map he made also incorporates one of the most important elements that is missing from modern Counter-Strike: Funk Vehicle. But I'll talk about Funk Vehicle maps in a different video. Tarnhouse is a cool hostage map where the CTs spawn in a little cave with a boat, and they can either swim to the house or they can get on the boat and drive it around the moat under the house. The Ts, on the other hand, have taken the owners of the house hostage, and for some reason, they want to hold on to them. Maybe they want someone to cuddle them late at night when they have a nightmare. While I could continue to talk about the many different house-themed maps that he's made over the years, I think it would be a disservice to NIPPER and his mapping ability for me not to include a few more of his more weird or simpler maps. This is The Stairs, which is a map that takes place completely on a stairwell. In this case, I would argue that the CTs are the bad guys and that the Ts are the good guys. The Ts clearly want to blow up the stairs because they support all stairs being replaced with ramps so that wheelchair users can escape in emergencies, and the CTs want to keep all wheelchair users in fear of stairs forever. The Ts start at the top, and the CTs start at the bottom of the stairs, with both teams fighting for their cause. Now, this may be a weird map, but you know what else is weird? The fact that you haven't actually subscribed yet. Maybe you should do that now. And if you think that's a bit of a weird idea for a map, how about DE Goned then? I'm going to let some gameplay play out in the background while I once again read the description of this map to you. One day, 2 twin evil big head babies were hungry. So they decided to order a pizza, but they couldn't order a regular pizza because their enormous brains need giant pizza. So they called upon the great fast-talking rap gods and asked them for a super giant pizza. The gods agreed to give them a giant super pizza, and they left it on the shrine of the fast-talking rap gods. So, the evil big head babies went out to pick up the pizza, but while they were gone, a group of terrorists broke into their house. The CTs spawned right above the giant pizza altar, which is where the hostages are also located. But it's also where the bomb site is located, because this map has both. The CTs need to take the hostages all the way back to the T spawn outside the house in order to rescue them. And the Ts, for some reason, want to destroy the pizza shrine. Now, while this all may sound extremely weird, it's actually nothing compared to the final map of this video. Welcome to Blah. Technically, this is a diffusal game mode map, but it isn't one that you would probably ever play on a server with 30 people running around hunting for kills. Instead, Blah is a look inside the mind of a man who's made 200 Counter-Strike maps and what happens when someone like that tries to push the boundaries of what is possible in a map. While Blah did start as a 1.6 map, the version I'm showing you here is the Counter-Strike source version, just because I think it looks a little bit cleaner. The CT spawn is this room filled with doors. Some will send you right back to the room that you're in, while a couple of them will take you to another area of the map, like this space diner. If you run through the diner, you end up in this red room with grids everywhere. If you run through this room, you end up in this other room with a giant eyeball on the wall. And while this map does have a lot of weird hidden paths and twists and turns and secret doors, this sign isn't lying to you. You're also in luck when it comes to that giant eyeball. It doesn't stare at you the entire time, so you can run through the room and end up going through a couple of hallways that lead out to a courtyard. This courtyard just so happens to be one of 2 rooms that the T's can choose to immediately run to. In this courtyard, you can choose a few other doors. One of the doors leads you to your death by pudding. The other leads you to your death when you get punished for being greedy and going for an AWP that is just sitting there. If instead you go up the ramp that is the Starry Expanse, you end up in T-Spawn, which only has one other path that you can take, which leads you into a grassy tunnel. If you make a left, you will be greeted with light beams that deal damage to you, and if you make it through the first section, you may not be able to see it, but there is a hole down there. That hole leads you to an Indiana Jones-like area where there is a valuable treasure on a pedestal. The treasure in this case happens to be the logo for the Cherry Clan, a legendary clan that NIPPER is a part of. Back in the tunnel, if you don't turn left, you will be greeted with a big mansion with many possible paths, but everyone with a sense of decency will take the front door after knocking. Once inside, you will find a door that is marked Idiots Only, and you should only go through this door if you are actually an idiot, as it will trap you in a box that labels you as such. Instead, you should go through the next door, which leaves you once again with a couple of choices. One choice is to go up this ladder into a tunnel that is covered in clouds. But if you choose to go straight and take the path with a baby face, you will be greeted with a big brain floating in the air. And this just happens to be Bomb Site B. If you run through this, you'll end up in a room filled with beautiful artwork, framed just for you to enjoy. If you jump into this computer chip, you will end up inside the A-bomb site. And if you go just a little bit beyond that, you will find the box that contains any idiots that are on your server. Here, you're able to taunt them or just straight up kill them if you wish. Back in the art room, you will find a couple more paintings you can jump into. One is this white space with a door on it, which takes you back to the CT spawn. But the final room that I have time to show you is a very special one. While we could get to it by going through this painting, instead I want to take you there through the CT spawn. Once we are back in the spawn, if we go through this specific door, we are flung into this masterpiece of a room. The room is based on the Garden of Earthly Delights painting and is easily the most recognizable room of the entire map. If you've ever wanted to climb inside the rear of a random creature, then this is the room for you. NIPPER maps may not be as popular as they once were, but they are still extremely fun to play with friends, and I highly suggest that you get some friends together and give them a try sometime. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this journey through time and down the rabbit hole of NIPPER's brain. As always, please like and subscribe, and take care.